last month's meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Motion carried. We have financial report for Pam.
You also got minutes from July.
Oh, we didn't get July.
Yeah.
You guys had a chance to read July? Got it.
I'll second that.
All in favor? July vote. Yes.
Which one was business day? August 15th.
I didn't check my email, I didn't get into late. Thursday. It's July's
I didn't print them out, I looked at them.
Okay, I didn't get it. Anybody got any questions on the financial report?
Motion to accept the financial report presented.
Both months.
Yes, both months.
Okay, I'll second that.
All in favor?
That's July.
Is that July or August?
Yeah.
We got any previous business we need to make?
I need one of you to, I went back and changed the property management agreement based on Urban's recommendation. And we passed that back in July, and I wanted you to, I just wanted to sign 3 copies of that thing, then I'll get it re-signed. I had it in there, it was half the damage deposit, and he wanted it written as half the first month's rent. And the other thing was, that one didn't have the amount written in on what he's authorized to spend without board approval, and I put it on that $1,000. So I made about 3 copies of it.
Have, you talked to Urban, I mean, how's he come along with the renovations there?
Haven't talked to him,
Now, I was by there the other day, and the electrician was there working on putting the electrical back. He didn't give any time frame. They have been working on it, yeah.
Yeah, we got to go up along there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he indicated. He said it should be doing this over.
Sign through these.
yeah.
I'll get them to the committee room. Anything else we need to update on the Hasbro, or just what you told us exactly?
Well, the hearing is set for October 9th. We have a new judge, Judge Law, and it will be down in Crawford County. And Jason's a designated tag guy, so he's going to go down with him.
Thank you, Jason.
The hearing will be on motion to dismiss, which I filed. I've not heard anything from the insurance company. They are investigating, and they're in an internal investigation to decide whether or not to take over the defense of the claim on the reservation rights and everything else since the last time I talked to them. So that's the update on that.
Anybody have questions for John on that? Any other previous business, we move on to,
I don't think is in proper form, and that's a part of the motion to dismiss. I'm not going to have you consider that, because I don't consider it a correct document, nor do I consider it to have been properly served. Those are matters I'm going to have to.
So if Judge Locke dismisses it and it's over with?
Well, that's fine. But if he dismisses it, then they would have to initiate a due to appoint notice. Or he might dismiss, he could dismiss the small claim, determine that what they filed is in substantial compliance. If he does that, then the 90-day clock starts running for you to officially review, investigate, and make a determination. But until you do that, and that 90 days runs out under the statute, they will not initiate any action.
So do we actually do that, or does the insurance company do that?
Well, it depends. I mean, we would have to notify the insurance company, and then they can either say, you know, the investigation will be a phone call, what's the deal?
Okay.
Or they could actually send somebody out. But until we get a proper tort claim notice,
Okay.
as far as I'm concerned, there's nothing for you guys to consider.
Any questions here?
No,
Okay.
it was brought up to me that we need to appoint somebody other than you, along with you, to be able to sign some of these other documents, should you not be available.
That'd be wonderful.
I did think you would argue that point.
That'd be wonderful. Would you like to do that, or?
I'll be glad to, somebody else would need to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that we sign Bob to that test.
Sign Bob to give him the authority to sign documents?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All in favor? You get to help me sign documents, you wear your pin now. And I'll try to be around a little more often if I can.
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
We need to sign that one for the grant that we got.
I got a phone call, yesterday from Carla, informing us that, FAA was going to pay out $150,000 as a part of the grant. And so we have a grant agreement that needs to be signed by Ronnie. So you need a motion to approve the grant agreement, offer dated September 18, 2012, in the amount of $150,000.
And you read it,
What it is.
is everything in order?
There are new terms and conditions that go along with that. I can probably email those out to everybody.
You got those about a month.
You know, when they come to the meeting.
What
Goes
goes
along
along
with that too, and then
with
making a decision on Temple's contract and how you want to proceed, because that's grants directly related to that.
This money goes to paying him for that.
Correct.
Okay.
So that needs to be signed, and I need to sign it, so.
I'll put the sign file here.
Does that need to be done tonight?
Yes. Also, the terms and conditions of the grant need to be Need motions on both of those.
You know, if you-
30 pages if you want to read.
I've got all that.
All of you received that in an email.
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we, Ronnie sign both terms and conditions.
Is your grant?
Approve the grant.
Motion that you approve the terms and conditions, and a motion that you accept the grant.
Yes.
Second.
Mark second, all in favor? Motion carried. Get it signed here in a minute. Is that there, that grant's related to our water project, water sewer project?
Correct.
Is that enough to cover the whole project, or is that for the spring also?
That is not, the whole project is approximately how much more?
What it is that will go towards it. You had carryover from last year's grant that goes towards it. If you guys choose to do the base bid, bid alternate,
Plus the 30-something thousand.
bid alternate 1, bid alternate 4, you end up having a carryover amount that would have to be covered by next year's 2013 grant of about $35,000.
How much do we have left from last year?
Do the math real quick for you.
I didn't think we spent a whole lot last year.
And Michael, this letter you sent out today, now, is that one of the alternates? Or is
No.
that separate?
What, you were in that meeting where the mayor requested the pricing for an additional 4-inch sanitary sewer line. The thought being that while the 2-inch is being installed, it'd be cheaper for them to go ahead and upsize and put in an additional 4-inch line so that, if capacity warrants it in the future, you've already got a 4-inch line installed. So they asked us to go to a low bidder and get a price for that, and that's what that letter shows.
Did you send one to the mayor?
Yes, I did. And that additional cost is $34,425. And that's an open cut trench to install both open cut trench and an installation of that pipe. We also asked for them to provide a cost to directional bore that, and we're still waiting on that cost.
Am I thinking right? The pipe's not gonna be hooked up to anything.
No, it's just gonna be capped.
It's gonna be laid in there so that if they wanna have to hook on in the future, they can do that.
And upsize, the pumps and the wet well, it's there to do. So it'd be going back to the city to decide if they want to pay that price.
So then I go over it twice.
Correct. And if you look at the price compared to, they bid in their bids, what is the cost to upsize from a 2-inch line to a 4-inch line? And they said that was $8 just to upsize to a 4-inch line. So you're only getting, just upsize. And now in this cost, they're saying it's $850 to install a whole new line, a second line. So
But again, if the city's, I'm sure they're still gonna charge something.
of course, yeah. But
Should be substantial.
And I guess that's what you need to get back and make sure that that's something they want us to look into. The issue here is that, I'm kind of getting into my report, but, is that the grants are only extended until the end of this month. So a decision needs to be made, so.
We just did that though, right?
No, we're accepting the grant here.
Okay,
Right.
the decision needs to be made on
On
that
their
side.
contract, yeah.
Okay.
But I wouldn't accept the grant, or I wouldn't sign the grant if you're not going to.
We were signed.
Well, you can't accept the money for the grant, there's not going to be a drawback on it. I guess there's no downside to accepting the grant, although the FAA is not going to be pleased if the grant's signed and the contract's not done, and construction goes forward. The grant application and description is specifically for utility projects, so you couldn't switch that out for another project without doing some more paperwork and asking for a grant amendment.
So we're basically $34,000 short.
35 to do everything.
And there's a couple ways to do that. Carla talked to the city and they said they had money and that they would fund it and then get reimbursed by the FAA with the 2013 grant. Temple and Temple has also verbally agreed to delay installing that sanitary
favor of having the city, you know, put it in and get reimbursed next year. Well, I mean, I'd like to see if we've got somebody to do the water line, go ahead and do what we've got. And Temple will accept to do that. Because, I mean, you know, I know they're trying to do, mayor's trying to do some stuff with water as far as lakes and inlets and things like that, and I really hate.
I didn't understand that because we didn't know whether we were gonna get anything this year or not.
Well, you'll get your 150. I mean, you're going to get
That's the
that.
bare minimum.
Yeah, it's so, I mean, you are gonna get that money next year, so if they do upfront it, they are gonna be repaid that money next year.
I'll make a motion, we go ahead and put the water line in and save the sewer bill after first.
As far as their contract,
We just work out the schedule, table. I mean,
are you guys agreeing to their contract to install the sanitary sewer next year, or are you wanting to pull that out of the contract?
I think we need to get some kind of read from the city on this 34, 4 and 4. I mean, I think,
If you're making a decision tonight, that's why I made that motion.
And you don't have to make that decision tonight, whether you, I mean, that portion of it needs to be paid by the city. I mean, because that's the portion that's for the future development.
Yeah.
So whether you add that, you're not gonna take that as a contract, as long as you proceed with the bills and stuff, and it's for the terminal bills, that's not an issue, that decision can be made. But that portion will be city funded and will not be FAA, AIT.
but is this one of the options under the contract?
It is, but you can award the base bid and the alternates that you're gonna award, and then
Change
order that.
order that in.
If that's what you're.
Does this exceed whatever the percentage is on the change order limitation?
I mean, it's gonna be the city paying for it, so it's not related to the FAA, they're funding that.
Well, that's a city as far as, and as long as the contractor agrees to it, and usually it's not a matter of adding in things that you can't deduct a certain percentage out without them, giving some, or just allowing them any chance of this maybe.
We have money for the water line.
I don't. What was your motion, Bob?
That we go ahead with putting the water line in and save the sanitary and whatever first of the year. So that we can get the city nailed down on what they want to do and the cost.
Well, is that a motion then to accept Temple and Temple's bid on the project, which is both water line and sanitary sewer?
Yes, I
And
have
then-
no problem with that. I don't
And then to request that the sanitary sewer portion be delayed until in terms of construction.
I'd rather somebody else make that motion.
Huh?
I'd rather somebody else make that motion.
I mean, is that what you,
That's what I'm referring to, yes.
And you can make the award contingent on Temple's agreement to delay the construction and building of that portion of the work until the grant money is available for the 2013.
Well, could the city put that in themselves, you know, force that in themselves? And be part of their match money, their,
No, I mean, once you sign this contract to have Temple and Temple do it, they're under contract to do it, so it's.
We could change one of the portion out of it, but it would get messy. I don't think there's a way that we could have the city do it and say that that's their matching funds for that.
So I just hate to see the city tie up money.
That would be fine.
We just wait to the water that portion of the project.
Yeah, the water company wouldn't get anything
next year after the multi-year grant is received, that portion. And like I said, they have agreed for to do that.
This way we get things ironed out with the city on what they want to do.
Bob made a motion, we got a second?
Who's the decision maker
Now,
on
I'm
this?
sure somebody
Is
else.
it the city? Who's the decision maker in the city?
You want, I don't know which part's gonna come through for. You can, let me.
Right into the building.
Better a car than airplane.
We come through the wall here.
What's your thoughts?
My thoughts is, I think we ought to go with the water and complete it, and then, you know, if, and I don't know the legal part of what we run into here, but at that point, you know, I actually think we pull the sewer out of the project.
Your issue with doing that is, it's a, what's considered, it's a terminology,
It's more than 25%.
it's a major item is what they call it. And so any item that's more than 25%, you have to go back to the contractor and they can ask for more money elsewhere because you're changing their contract by taking out a major item.
They can, that doesn't mean they would, and I believe the way the project's bid out now, that it's being done by the subcontractor with them, so they may not be able to actually do that.
Well-
But the downside of that is, you eventually you're gonna want to put that in, you're gonna have to put another bid out for that portion of the work.
The wall fall in? Did the wall fall in?
Gravel over there. So there is.
That would just have to be a conversation we had at Temple and Temple. The only risk you run is that if you pull that out of their contract now, and you decide next year that you guys want to rebid the sanitary portion, and it comes in at a higher cost.
Well, I'm sure it will, I mean, to some degree, but there again, you know, I hate to ask them or anybody else to sit there, and, you know, they're carrying money for virtually a year. Am I right?
No, they wouldn't do the work. We wouldn't ask them to do the work, we just ask them to delay the construction on that portion until the grant money is available.
And that's okay with the FAA for us to ask them to do that if they agree?
With the way it's been going, what if the money don't come available? Then it's,
The 150, you're guaranteed to get it next year, so it'd be $35,000 carryover from next year's 150.
I wouldn't say that. There's always a chance that Congress won't fund it, we change the funding bill, but we know of no reason that they would change that.
You've got a grant, you got a grant for $100,000 in place. And that's for the utility project. I would have concerns if you don't. I think rather risk not getting additional funding next year than saying we're gonna put it off and turn down the $150,000 and then try to pick that up sometime next year. And I would think it would be wiser to have the $150,000 in hand and proceed with at least part of the project. If Temple's is going to delay the sewer aspect.
I don't think we probably need to move on with it, like you, said, I don't wanna see the city use any of their funds. You know, if we could delay it till, you know, till the funds become available and people's okay with that, I mean, I'd be okay with that, but
Yeah, I would too.
I don't really wanna, I wouldn't wanna jeopardize here where we're not really, where we need it, but we don't, it's emergency, and the city is trying to do, I know they're talking about trying to do some stuff with water, and, you know, I'd really hate to see $30,000 going out here that, on something we're really not ready to use, and they could use that, you're on the board of works, and, you know, that'd probably be pretty upsetting to put that money in.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think with, if you do push it to next year, maybe, you know, the city and the mayor get a better idea of what kind of developments they're looking at getting out here, and will have a better idea on what exactly they need for that sanitary. So pushing it to next year is not necessarily a bad thing, but going ahead and awarding that and having them agree to push that construction to next year.
You could also take the county money and draw,
Can we spend,
loan one fund to the other fund off that.
so could we spend that money, which is actually our match money, and then have them, get it reimbursed for the
There's a question for
2013?
that, but I think it could be.
I'm asking these guys.
It's on the city books.
As far as the FA is concerned, yes.
Well,
And for that matter, they could borrow money out, you know, capital improvement fund or something.
that's the only thing that concerns me, I mean, that's, we need to try to make self-sustaining, and that's what we all kind of agreed with David to do. And if Temple's willing to go along with them, I mean, they've got the job a little bit, so I see the problem with them. And there again, I don't want to see them put something in and hear their help for, you know, 6 months, 9 months or so, not get paid.
No, we would just ask them not to install that until the money's available, so they would be out, so that they could be paid as soon as they got the work done.
Is that okay with you guys? I need a motion to that effect.
You make the motion, you said so much, I don't even know, repeat it.
Yeah, well, I haven't been at any of the other meetings, so I'm lost on what's going on, but, I think and I'll make a motion that we go ahead and proceed with the project of installing the water and the sewer, if Temple is agreeable to delaying sewer installation until we get our funding in 2013. Is that correct?
So the motion would be to award the contract to Temple and Temple, based on the fact that they're the lowest bid, subject to Temple and Temple agreeing to delay, hold off the sewer portion of the project until next year and until 2013 funds determined. Got that, Jason?
Okay, I need a second on that.
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Janitors.
We'll do that. And one other thing, I talked to a guy called me the other day on the Shelby Street project. He got a bunch of fill he wanted to get rid of. And what I was thinking, you know, possibly put in that Cruz property there someplace along the road. If you're going back off the road there, then just put that lift station in, okay?
Correct.
So it, I mean, it wouldn't affect.
You just want to make sure that you're not blocking the drive to get in there and get access to that lift that's installed if you end up putting filter in there.
Right. If you're contacting about subcontract anything, you can't agree to do that until you get a conflict of interest.
No, I'm not, no, this guy's just looking for someplace to.
No, I'm talking about the water line and sewer.
Oh, I'm not doing anything on the water.
Okay.
He talked to me about the sewer, give them some numbers, that's as far as it's looking, so, at this point, we table that, so until they're ready. and then do that. But I know this would be an option, we could get some fill, we need some fill, if they want to get rid of it. I don't know where it will, Pardon? Well, that's what I was thinking, Bill, that cruise, because it's low all the way across there, and that makes it real
We
good.
got a
drainage.
field out there, you can stack it in.
It's good, it's not topsoil, it's good filler.
I'm assuming, yeah, so we're doing a shelter strip out there, right? So, they landfill maintain it, but they was looking for some spots.
You got the cruise property, you got backlot Jackson's, you got Bruce Wall. Got the Roberts property.
I just had to say, if you put on a cruise contract, block that in.
Well, I mean, what I'm asking too is can we use it? I mean, is it gonna be worthwhile?
Let us look and give you the answer, but I would say as much numbers as we have to move out here, as long as we get close to there, we get, yeah, we can make it work.
If it's beneficial to us, beneficial to them,
Should not be a problem. We would probably need them to seed it, so that it's not a eroding problem, since, it's a government-owned or city-owned facility. We need to seed it, and probably put some temporary silt fence around it.
well, they'll have to do that in compliance with,
Right.
they've got to, whatever they do, they've got to have it approved way control. You guys know.
Yeah, so as long as they agree to do that, so there's no cost to the airport, we'll find a place for it, we'll make sure that you guys are
Okay with that?
Yeah, sure we do.
Are we going to put a fill in here between the plant lobby district and the?
Mark's got much for that.
I got 200-300 roads.
Okay.
At least.
Yeah, really from what they're doing out there, it wouldn't take that much. I was what's his name out there, and, I mean, that's not that big of a field. Run an airplane across there. We get some culverts, but that's it.
Well, you've got that taken care of.
We got a contract. We just need to proceed on it, get some culverts.
I don't think we can agree to supply them out of plastic. So just go away with the.
I think that's on by end of the month.
Who filling it?
Must be.
I contacted her and asked her.
We'll do that, definitely, that right.
I think we had to do that sometime.
I don't know about it.
I call it our civil engineer, provided us with a right to use it.
What did we have to get an easement from that other guy there, Wendell? You gotta get an easement.
We wouldn't have to get an easement from the association here.
Let's,
We'll give them access to it from the airport that way.
I guess if we're, you just go ahead and do your report.
That's fine, we've discussed most everything I have on there. Once again, mobile homes on the Rogers and Cruise properties have not been removed. I mean, sanitary, I guess this is not as big of a deal now, that the pump station won't be able to be constructed on the cruise property until that structure is moved.
I've got one question. There is one piece of property away from everything else up here, 41,
It's the tower.
the tower. Why are we gonna buy the tower?
We'll either buy the property to take down the tower, or pay for them to move that tower away from the airport.
But I thought the tower was being used again. It was not used for a long time, but didn't they start using it again?
It's used, but no, we don't own it, Craig Kennedy doesn't own it anymore. They don't own any of these towers around there anymore.
How's everybody gonna find Salem?
GPS.
Look on a map.
How many years has that tower been the target?
It was built in 1964.
Don Martin used to fly into his antenna. He'd turn it to 1220, fly down top of the antenna. Ain't correct.
We don't always want to find out. Got a lot of days and weeks and nights out there.
I know when Chris Napier, we come back in from flying there the other day, like, you know, he was saying he'd really like to see that gone. I mean, he was the same distance from it, but I could see the advantage of it going.
What's funny is, when I got on this board, I asked, I don't know how many times, I never get an answer, oh, it's not in the way, it's not in the way. That's the first I've ever heard that we're gonna buy that.
That's why it's listed on.
The ALT shows it to be an obstruction, but it has the disposition of the.
I can see how it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was coming into that, I mean, he was pretty much over that house.
So you start your left turn for left base.
Okay.
I was just telling John that Temple and Temple agreed to extend the bids, until the end of September. We've got a letter from them stating that, so we're good on their bids through the end of the month. The next item, I think we've covered that already. The item under that, the city decided that the sanitary force main shall be installed all the way to the city-owned manhole on the northeast side of State Road 60. From our meeting with the mayor last month, you know, they decided that just let's put the force main in all the way over there, not even trying to use Alexander's gravity line. Because the permitting, you know, they'd have to go back and make sure it was installed properly. There's several issues in there why they chose to switch with it. Next two items we've discussed. At this time, it looks like the airport will not receive additional funding for property purchases this year. And then the final item, we're just waiting to hear back from the mayor when in October or November, he can meet with that.
Okay.
Keep an eye on it too, that we encourage as many board members to go, but we do more than 2 meetings published. And it's a meeting.
Right.
Because technically, then the public. If anybody wants to drive up and say anything from the public, that's good.
Yeah. Not that one.
And that's all I got.
That's all you got? Okay. Anybody got any questions for any guys that we haven't already asked them?
I have a couple more things for you to sign, Ronnie. We'll give you motion on their ones to pay applications, and then also the quarterly reports and cards.
Put together for the grants.
And Ronnie, just so you're aware, we're just telling John that, that contract for Temple and Temple will have to be signed by the end of the month, since that's when the bids will expire, so we'll get that drafted and sent to John, sent to John.
All right,
So your name on it, we have to worry about it.
Huh?
So your name on what we have to worry about it.
Well, for all of them have yours, so you put yours in there too.
Just when you're on.
We can go together, you know, Bob.
Just when
If
you're on.
it don't work out.
Yeah. Okay, so good.
I need to sign a check through the courthouse, I guess, man.
Okay.
Well, I have a question.
It's good stuff.
Were we gonna give, is someone gonna take the Roberts home?
Yes,
And then is that lined up?
that one is going, is spoken for.
In fact, we've delivered a bill of sale
Yeah.
on that mobile home.
Okay, so is
What
there
the
a
delay
date?
is the city, county building inspector required a licensed engineer draw up the plans for the foundation for that home. They got that done, they're building it right now.
Okay, so there is a date, intended date on moving that.
Right. The first property, I was informed tonight that they don't have anybody for it.
So we're gonna go on to just demolish that one?
No, there's somebody else that wanted it, just gonna give it to them.
Okay.
But that's a, hold up the county engineers when they're licensed.
Yes. With a licensed engineer.
I've done that for 30 years. there, this is the first kind of Mickey Mouse stuff that we have to put up with.
Travis over here.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I might have missed something, but I'm good. Okay,
Believe me, I don't know, they're just as fast as you do. And I don't think I'll ever get involved in this mess again. And you try to give somebody something and they're gonna feel it give it.
Well, worse than, no good deed comes unpunished, right? And said, no good deed goes unpunished.
That's right.
right.
Long as we'll do your maintenance, but, beforehand, like I said, I wanna give you a public meeting there, you've done a real good job, everybody on the fly-in Saturday,
Yes.
done a wonderful job, it was a lot of fun, had a pretty good turnout, so we're gonna thank you and all the people that helped you.
Relay that work to there, so everybody, we had a lot of positive comments, you know, we could have had more of this, but then for first year of this, of not having anything for years and years, everybody's very, very pleased. And before the night was over with, I didn't leave here till 8:45 at night, because I had some big airplanes coming in for the race, you know, everybody would just say, we had a great time, hey, let's do this next year, so before we go with the planning for next year, so, but I will relay that to everybody, and everybody chipped in, they were right at the last. I began to wonder who was behind it there for a while, but it all came together at the end, which quite often things like this do, you know, you're not sure until. But here's the report, it's,
Stuff keeps getting approved.
just very quick, we got, I said new electric stove, I heard correctly, I said used electric stove, but it's like new, in and working over here to replace that gas when it's idle one. With the assistance of several other individuals, Rhonda, the McIntyres, the lady here was just momentarily there. On Labor Day, matter of fact, we completely scrubbed the kitchen down here and had it looking really nice. He knows there were some holes in the concrete out there out front, why late one night I dug it out, sucked all the gravel out, and poured concrete in there and smoothed it up. And I also discussed with Mark, the Aviation Association in Indiana. We will host a quarterly meeting here on April the 17th, 2014. Monday I got a call from a fellow that was up here. I was uptown at the bank, my cell phone went off, and Ken Schmidt from Transportation Security Administration, which is part of the Homeland Security, was out here. He's from Evansville, and he's supposed to send me some documents in regards to Homeland Security issues here at the airport. Again, last week, before last, we had a lot of activity here in the county with crop dusters. A lot of phone calls we received by various people that upset. Jeff Elsner, who was a helicopter pilot, and Travis Dugan was in here from Connersville for 3 days, made a contribution. Jack Knowles was in here from Madison, and also Jeff made a contribution as well to our fly-in. And I also worked with Jackson County people. Item 7, it's been a lot of time last month, as you can imagine, putting on the fly-in here, and we feel it's very successful, and plans and suggestions are being discussed. Paint the front door, if you notice or not, was looking pretty township white. So I found a can of gray paint at home that I thought would look pretty well, so we painted the door. Also, we finally got some of the lock issues resolved over here. Finally got that lock on that door taken out and rekeyed, as well as the door, the west door there at the Terminal Building. So we got a little more security around here. You'll see the fuel sales report, once again, they're really strong this year, very happy. We have $55,764.14 fuel sales. You got a copy, Ron?
No, here,
Okay.
that's all good.
So we're well on target to shoot way past $60,000 in fuel sales this year. So. And
Now.
today we had a $400 sale this afternoon.
You need to keep in close contact with Pat in terms of what's in the budget for fuel versus what we're spending.
Yeah, I didn't get growl at about 3 weeks ago, but I was informed, I knew I was getting thin.
You weren't the only one who got a crowd.
So we're making money, guys.
And I know that
They've got to take it out of another fund.
She told me, that's the adjustment right there, took $15,000 out of the fund to cover what we bought 3 weeks ago, and what we're gonna need another shipment probably around the end of October. So I still have about about $1,600 gallons in stock out there now, so we're okay for a while. Just looking ahead, other items at bottom of it, we're gonna have to do something with the door tracks, just hangers across the way. John Barber can't hardly open the door, and we talked about that like it, Ronnie. And I would like to know if, I know at the March meeting last year, I was approved for me to spend up to $100, but can I hire somebody to help me repair that door out there? We talked lightly about that, Ronnie. As that, do I have the board's permission to get somebody in to help me? And I don't want to spend any more than $500 or something like that. And we have,
I didn't go over and look at it, which I was, Lowell will tell me, you probably just readjusting up there, it's nothing real major, I don't think, but, you know, it's probably more than Lowell can handle itself.
Yeah. I don't have a problem.
we're just going to find $42.79 left in this year's budget for that kind of work. I could probably do it, but, you know, I would rather have some help.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Anybody done any, know of any remodeling work being done where I can beg, borrow a closet door so I can close into the hallway and make a closet? Let me know. And we need to do a little gutter work in front of the terminal too, right here, at the hangar, West Neighbors hangar right here.
Oh, I'm getting ready to tear down a house, and I don't believe it was that big or not, I'll look and see.
Let me know.
You got it left on.
I was left in it, they got some of the stuff in it, the guy said he got some guy supposed to tear it down, you know, clean it up, so he's got a mess, so we're gonna come in and clean it up, so I'll look and see if there is something.
I mean, you're only $29 down at that place in Clarksville, but if I can find one for nothing, I'd rather do that. I'll be going Sunday and Monday. They're having a state convention for aviation, or Association of Indiana Museums. They're having a convention over there Sunday and Monday at Terre Haute. And of course, I'll be going October the 9th to the 12th at the Aviation Association of Indiana convention at annual meeting.
We need to know also who's going to go up to that conference.
What is it?
October the 9th to the 12th. I don't know if you want to do any of these in advance or not. The letter I wrote requesting donation, kind of throw this in. All of the people right there with the exception of two that I need to add for the people that made donations to the event. I told the mayor back early summer, I thought we could pull this off around $1,100 to $1,200. We ran past that, it ran to $13.29. Donations are around $15.10 to $15.20. That's what we got. So we got a little bit of money left over for seed money. And I think we talked about earlier, we may consider taking 5 of the most popular races and serving breakfasts here, and let that money we make off of breakfasts then go towards that
earmark some money out of,
we'd have to talk to DOTF
yeah.
and,
So we
SBA.
earmark some of the money we're getting for rent or
Yeah, our biggest expense was insurance, it was around $740.
I like that was really good, we had some good
Yeah.
turnout, so, you know, I know we can't maybe do all of it, but if we could maybe
Really
start.
use it for education for the airport.
Well, I mean, really, it's a good selling point for us, so,
Advertising and promotion.
yeah.
Well, I went around the square on Wednesday and Thursday, went to people again, and, I saw I got quite a bit of money just went to Drew Wright's office was one. Ron Mingus was generous.
Chris Baker, how long did he run? Chris run them back-to-back flights, I mean, they were.
Well, yeah, he should. I mean, Jeff did, and very generously. He had one of the fellows just when he was leaving, Ron check over to me.
I mean, Chris, I don't know how long did he go, if he was still going, I left about 1 or 2.
4 o'clock.
I was here at 4, he's still flying.
Really?
So,
And I mean, he was busy flying, so.
He made some money, he did real well. Chris gave 11 rides and $99 a piece.
They were fun.
And I'm looking for an airplane for you too. Any questions, comments?
Heard great compliments, Lowell.
Well, thank you very much. I had some good, great people. We all worked together really well. We had fun. We laughed, and everybody was, we're on the same mindset. Somebody that we didn't know, we come up and introduced ourselves and shook hands and thanked them for coming. We had a nice selection of people who associated with aviation. I have a list. I won't go through all the list here, but we had 8 or 9 entities that was involved in the aviation field in some way or another. And they all had some good time. And I said, you know, this is the first year for having something. We want some suggestions because we want to make it bigger, better this year and make it so you will want to come back. And they said, oh, we'll be back. So that was the way we approached everything. Food was great. Rhonda had over 200 people using it over there. She was busier than one lady got a contest, but she was pretty busy over there. And she has some stuff too.
My grandkids went over and really liked that museum, they had a good time over there, so.
I love good comments about that.
But all in all, just a super, super Saturday. I mean, I went to sleep right now. I got home a little after 9. I was in bed a little after 9. I got up about 4:05 Sunday morning, but it was worth it. You know, got 4.5 hours sleep. Saturday morning, got home 1 o'clock, and then we signed on the real estate property that there. We went after Friday night we were out. We went down to Albany and signed on some papers and talked with them for quite a while. They come to 1, and they had got to 5:30 over here. But it was worth it. Looking back, well worth it.
We got a motion to accept the maintenance report,
Yes. I'll make it.
a second.
all in favor? Motion carried.
Back to this thing at Plymouth, we do need to know if anybody's going up there. We just need to know. So we can get that in.
You're going on, you know.
Yes, we
Are you going, Bob?
You wanna go?
I have some I'm supposed to be on the 10th, I just looked. He said it's the 9th to the
yeah.
12th, which is like a Tuesday to a Friday.
They have a banquet Friday night, or night.
Would you like to go? I mean, it's well worth it if you get a chance to go.
Nice, nice.
That's what's really.
See, go to the banquet.
No, we left early.
I'll be up there, yeah, we would open, Dale, if you wanna drive up one day, stay overnight, come back the next day, I mean, I'd be,
I could do that. I know the 5th I'm working for Steve, and then the 10th, but so I can drive up on Thursday the 11th, and then, you know, I can be there Thursday and Friday if need be.
I probably don't have time, if you want to do it, I wouldn't mind.
I learned a lot that other time in was a lot different than the year when we went to Plymouth.
That was the year I was supposed to play golf with you guys, and you showed up late.
I got to take your spot.
Yeah, I played with a different group, since you guys showed up so late. So I went ahead and teed off with another group that day.
State police asked them if they were on the same time.
Yeah, to make sure we get there on proper time. We were actually late. In fact, we didn't even have time to eat. We just needed to change clothes, just put our golf shoes on and had at it.
I hit 3 golf balls I've never hit.
I'm not sure what it is today.
Well, Danny, if you want to do that, if you think we need to go, I wouldn't mind going up to the third year.
Well, they need to be able to set up an appointment with SAA. And,
I don't think we will they?
No, they make their own list every year, and
okay.
We're not
Salem
on.
wasn't on the list this year.
The only,
They kind of rotate every year, they hit a certain number of areas.
Oh, okay.
So you only get a meeting every other or every third year, usually.
Okay.
and the only thing that would need would be some exposure for a couple of board members to go up there. Yeah, we are interested.
Yeah.
You know, if you all want to do that, I mean, we could do that.
Carly did try to get you on the list for a CIP meeting this year, but that's why the answer was no, that's why we're pushing for one.
You need to get with Pat. She'll make the arrangements.
Ron, just let us know when you guys are ready to get up there.
It's kind of up to you, Dan, if you want to do whatever works for you, I mean, I can.
We drive up Thursday morning, takes about 4.5 hours, whatever, and then come home.
You have an agenda, look, that's the agenda there,
It's actually over Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah, here's the agenda.
Actually, Friday there really
Please
isn't
come back Friday.
anything.
It's off Thursday.
No, banquet is Thursday night. Yeah, there really isn't anything on Friday.
Go up, we'd be missing it all.
Right.
Really,
So if you want to fly up, you can fly up. Fly up Wednesday morning, I'll fly you up there, and then fly back Wednesday evening.
You drive, you fly?
I haven't flown since 2003, but it'll be fun.
Hey, I've been on the back rides before, one more I'm gonna put there. They, do you survive the parachute like Chris does? That's up to you, Dan.
You all want to say anything?
Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen a plane actually in action at the airport.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, you didn't get out here Saturday, now, it was going on all day.
it's fun. Well, we've had a lot of requests to go ahead and add you to the Indiana Proud roster again. Even though this is an acoustical nightmare for me, we're going to do it again. Ian's going to take charge of it. This is my son. And be very good to him. He's a very good man, okay? So, but no, because of all the requests, we've gone ahead and started you up again. So we'll go ahead and record the meetings again and post them on Indiana Proud. So do you have any questions or any requests? There's nothing really to, you know, if you want to post your minutes after you approve them or anything sort of that nature, you're welcome to do so. Fun time in the city. Come on now. All right, so that's what we're doing here. So we'll try to be consistent about showing up. when we were recording you before, you were like the #1 hit list. When it would go up, people would snap onto you. So you were like one of our most popular. But I just don't like getting out on Wednesday night, so I'm going to throw him out in the wilderness.
Well, we're trying to move forward for everything in there, to do the best we can for everybody, so if anybody got any questions, we'll try to let you know what we know.
Right. If you have an email, I'll just put it on the page and be consistent with it. If there are any questions that they want to ask you, it's always a really easy thing to just go ahead and click on a link. That's up to you though. However you want to do it, if you want to do anything at all, that's cool.
What do y'all want to do?
I would just soon they come out here and ask.
Yeah.
Okay?
Sometimes it gets lost in interpretation.
Emails can be abusive. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I make a motion that we adjourn.
All in favor?
I'll volunteer.
Did I get that right, Chris?
Yeah.
You want practice on Bob?